Dear students, today we will discuss a theory of international trade which is known as modern theory of international trade. This theory is also named as factor proportion analysis, Heckscher-Ohlin theory of international trade, or the general equilibrium theory. In our earlier class, we have discussed about the Ricardian theory of international trade or the comparative cost difference theory of international trade. Now this theory, which was jointly developed by Eli Heckscher and Bertil Ohlin, two Swedish economists. They are from Sweden and they are Swedish economists. So they have jointly developed this trade theory. First, it was propounded by Eli Heckscher in 1919. Then his student Bertil Ohlin took over and developed this as a full-fledged theory of international trade in 1933. Now this theory, that is the Heckscher-Ohlin theory, is not a new theory. It is the upgradation or it is a development of the existing comparative cost theory developed by Ricardo. Now, Ricardo theory has said that international trade takes place because of existence of comparative cost difference in production of commodity. And according to that, there is specialization in production of a particular commodity by a particular country. They said due to this existence of comparative cost difference, specialization is created, and due to this creation of specialization of production, international trade took place. But the question is, why comparative cost difference exists in the first place? What is the basis of comparative cost difference, and why there is a difference in the cost of production among the different countries? What is the reason? That question, something which cannot be answered by the Ricardian theory of comparative cost difference. Now, this question, that is the reason for the existence of comparative cost difference. That means why a country enjoys a relatively comparative advantage in the production of a particular commodity. What is the reason behind this? What are the factors that contribute to the existence of comparative cost difference? These questions are unanswered by the Ricardian theory of international trade. And to answer these questions, Heckscher and Ohlin has developed this theory, which is based on the presence of factors of production in a particular country, or factor endowment, presence of factor endowments in a particular country or in a particular economy. So first of all, Ohlin has said that, or Ohlin said that the comparative cost principle is applicable to all trade, not only to international trade. His first objection of the comparative cost difference was that comparative cost principle is applicable to all the trade, whether it is international trade or internal trade or inter-regional trade. And international trade is no exception. Second objection was immobility of factors of production is a special feature in international trade, but it is also present in the inter-regional trade also. In case of inter-regional trade or internal trade, there is immobility of factors of production to some extent. So these two are the major objections of Ohlin to the Ricardian theory of international trade, on the basis of which he developed his own theory, which is modern theory of international trade. Now, modern theory of international trade has not rejected outrightly the concept of comparative cost advantage developed by the Ricardian theory. Rather, the modern theory has accepted the logic put forwarded by the Ricardian theory that international trade takes place due to the existence of comparative cost difference of production of a commodity. And modern theory has taken the comparative cost difference to the next level by giving the analysis of the reason or the causes for which the comparative cost difference arises. That means this theory is a simple extension of the comparative cost difference theory of David Ricardo. And this theory, Heckscher-Ohlin theory, is purely based on the factors of production which are available in the country or which are available in the economy of a particular country. They said that due to the availability or the abundance of factors of production in a particular country, comparative cost difference arises, and accordingly that country specializes in the production of a particular commodity on the basis of the factors of production that are available in that particular country. So first of all, before moving into the analysis of the theory, let us go through the major assumptions of this theory. First assumption is that this theory considers a two country, two commodity, and two factors of production, labor and capital, as a model. So it is a wider model compared to the Ricardian theory. Two country, two commodity, two factors of production. It said that there is a perfect competition in both product market as well as the factor market. Number 3, there is full employment of the factor of production in both the countries. Number 4, the technique of production in both the countries remain unchanged. So the technology of production will remain the same in both the countries. Number 5, the consumer taste pattern and therefore the demand function for different goods are identical in both the countries. The production next is, that is 6. The production functions are such that the two commodities show different factor intensities. One commodity is capital intensive, the other is labor intensive. Number 7, the trade between two countries is free and unrestricted. That means there is a free trade among the countries. There is no restrictions. Number 8, there is an absence of transport costs so that product prices are related to the exclusively to factor cost. So there is no transportation cost at all. Now let us move into the analysis of the theory again. So this theory has said that, as I said earlier, comparative cost difference is based on the presence of or the abundance of the factors of production in a particular country. Now next question arises, which is how we can measure the abundance of the factors of production, and how can we say that a country is abundant with capital and a different country is abundant with labor. So one country is rich in one factor of production and another country is rich in another factor of production. Or in more technologically, we can say that a country is more abundant with one particular factor of production and a different country is abundant with more of a different other particular factor of production. Now how could we measure? How one can measure how much a country is abundant with a particular factor of production, or a country is whether rich in one factor of production and scarce in another factors of production. In simple words, how to measure the abundance of a factors of production presence in a country. Now to measure this, to measure the availability or the presence of factors of production, Heckscher-Ohlin has used two criteria. One is factor endowment, another is factor intensities. So I repeat, they have used two criteria to measure the abundance of a factor of production in a particular country. Number one is factor endowment and number two is factor intensities. Now to measure the factor endowment in a particular country or in a particular economy, they have used two techniques. One is physical criterion and another is price criterion. So they measure factor endowment, that is presence of physical factors in a particular economy or a particular country, in two ways. One is physical criterion, another is price criterion. Now let us discuss the first one, that is the physical criterion. How they measure the physical criterion? Physical criterion refers to the physical presence of a particular factors of production. That is the quantity of factors of production presence in a particular economy. That means how much labor is present, how much capital is present, whether labor is more or whether capital is more, whether labor is less and whether capital is less than labor. So physical criterion gives us which factor of production is more in a particular economy, or in other words, a country is whether rich in labor and poor in capital, or rich in capital or poor in labor. To measure this, they have formulated one criterion, one ratio, which is like this. As I said, this is the criterion which will measure the, as you said, there is a two things, one is K, one is L. K means capital, L means labor, A means country A, B means country B. So as you have seen, the ratio K by L in country A and ratio K by L in country B. If the ratio K by L in country A is more than the ratio K by L in country B, then we can say that country A is relatively capital abundant. So relatively capital abundant means it has both capital and labor resources available in it, but comparatively it has more capital and less labor resource. That is why we have said country A is relatively capital abundant and country B is relatively labor abundant, which can be seen in this one. This means if L by K in country B, the ratio L by K in country B is more or greater than the ratio L by K in country A, then we can say that country B is rich in labor and poor in capital. So if this ratio holds good, if this ratio is true, then according to Heckscher-Ohlin, it means that there is more capital and less labor in country A and more labor and less capital in country B. And we can say that country A is relatively capital abundant country and country B is relatively labor abundant country. So this means country A has a comparative advantage in the production of capital intensive commodity. That means those commodities for which more capital is required and less labor is needed. I repeat, if this ratio is true, it means that country A is capital abundant country, which means country A can produce, country A has a comparative cost advantage in the production of those commodities which require more capital and less labor. That means capital intensive commodity. On the other hand, country B, which is rich in labor and poor in capital, can produce those commodities which require more labor force and less capital factor. That means those commodities which are labor intensive commodities. And if this happens, then country A will specialize in the production of capital intensive commodities, say machine, and country B will specialize in the production of labor intensive commodities, say cloth. And they will exchange machine and cloth among them, and accordingly there will be international trade between country A and country B. So this is the logic behind the physical criterion measurement of relative factor abundance of a country according to the Heckscher-Ohlin theory. So I must stop here for today for this class, and in the next class I'll explain the price criterion of the factor endowments, measurement of factor endowments as provided by the Heckscher and Ohlin theory of international trade. So student, I will be back again in our next class to explain the price criterion of this theory. Hope I am able to clear the things for today, and hope you have understood whatever I said. Thank you.